What's going on? Today I want to go over kind of my strategy, how I trade, and what I use for confluences. Today I'm gonna be going over my draws of liquidities, my favorite, and how I use them. So let's get right into it. Alrighty, my favorite draws of liquidity. So my first favorite draw of liquidity is day.high. That's like when a news event happens, for example, like CPI, we always have an extreme high and extreme low, like a wick, like a long wick. Those are very good draws of liquidity. Like price is always wanting to fill those before we want to go in the direction that the market wants to go in. So either we'll fill that and then we'll go higher, or we'll fill it and that's what we'll reverse off of. And then we have new week opening gap. We always create those after a new week. So like today is Sunday, tomorrow will be Monday, and we'll have a new week opening gap. Those price always wants to fill it. It's either taps into it or invalidates that gap, just like a fair value gap. Invalidates that fair value gap and will continue, or it respects that gap and goes lower, like rejects off of it. It's like an order block almost. That's kind of what fair value gap is. And then number three, my third favorite is relative equal highs and lows, and just in general equal highs and lows. Relative is like very close to equal highs, very close to equal lows. Like they're like here's the high, and here's the high of the wick, and then there's another wick right here. Very close, very close to be considered equal high, relative equal highs. And then at number five, I have a 4 hour unmitigated fair value gap, which is a 4 hour fair value gap that hasn't been attended to pretty much. Like something that hasn't been, a 4 hour fair value gap that hasn't been filled, hasn't been touched yet. And then number five, we have 1 hour unmitigated fair value gap, which is it's a higher time frame, but it's not as high as the 4 hour. The 4 hour is above that because it's a higher time frame. You have a higher time frame, always go with a higher time frame. Always go with a higher time frame when you're trading. Like if you see shorts about to play out, always need to go with your higher time frame trend. Like so, if you're very bullish on the 4 hour, but on the 5 minute we're expecting bearish confluences, wait for the confluences to add up to be bullish for your confluences. Does that make sense? Sorry, that's kind of like confusing. But then at number six, we have 4 hour internal highs and internal lows, which is a 4 hour fair value gap that was respected once, and we respected it went lower, and then we're coming back up for a resweep. Like we next day we come up. Now that is a draw liquidity. I'm going to show you examples of this, and then 1 hour internal high, internal low, and 15-minute internal high, internal low. 4 hours always greater than 1 hour, so the higher the time frame, the better. Just like that. So I'm going to go into the previous day, the trade I would have taken and why I faded it, and also the draws and liquidity. So SSL was sell side liquidity. And then 15-minute internal low here, equal low and 4 hour, and then a 1 hour low, a 1 hour fair value gap. I have that marked out from a while ago. So here's an example of a relative equal low. See how these candles right here are very close together? That'd be equal lows. And it's also a 4 hour fair value gap, as you can see. Okay, let's get right into market open. I'm gonna chart this out just like I did when I was trading Thursday. So as soon as I woke up, my routine is always getting the word of Jesus. So I read the Bible, and then I read for like 15 minutes, and then I'll hop on charts, and then I'll start charting. So as I can see, there's a 4 hour here. So I mark that 4 hour unmitigated fair value gap. I don't really type unmitigated because I've been using it so long. I just know. Sorry. I really just type 4 hour. So I know we have a 4 hour here. Boom. Okay, and then I also see this is at 8 o'clock, by the way, or 7:50. I also see there's a 4 hour down here that we just tapped into. So I mark this 4 hour out. It's a 4 hour testing, and I see the strong rejection off of this. I know we're in a downtrend, but here's what I mean by downtrend. Like we're currently printing down, but previously we were printing up, disrespecting all bearish confluences. Everything bearish, we were just disrespecting going higher. As you can see on Sunday, so really Friday, I don't really when. As you can see, we came up, disrespected this hourly gap here, this 4 hour gap, and then we came back down, swept this liquidity, and then went higher, right? So when you tend to see like things like this, like you disrespect a bullish confluence, we usually want to come down, liquidity sweep, get a liquidity sweep, then go higher. That's kind of how I think when I'm trading, and if my confluence comes to place, I'm going to take it. Okay, so as I can see that we're kind of rejecting off of this 4 hour fair value gap, and then same thing on ES. If we go to ES, the 4 hour, see, we're respecting off this 4 hour fair value gap. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Okay, so we can go for 1K. All right, so a strong rejection, right? Okay, so I notice we have the strong rejection off of NQ, and then we have also a strong wick off of ES. No SMT, because we both swept those lows. I also realized that we have another 4 hour here. This is another 4 hour fair value gap that we can target. We don't have a data high, but we do have a daily internal high, which is another confluence that I like for like targeting is daily fair value gaps. So as you can see, I'm very bullish coming into this day because this daily fair value gap got inversed, but we did wick into this daily fair value gap, so I could see us coming lower. But since we inversed that one, we created another one. We're tapping into that right now, hoping for us to respect it and go higher since we've been dumping for the last week. So I marked this daily internal high out that I want to see get taken as well. And then this is just previously marked out that still hasn't got touched. Like as you can see, unmitigated 15-minute, exactly. Okay, so I have this daily internal high marked out. I have this 4 hour marked out. I don't see us coming up this high in this day, but I do want to see us target this 4 hour. So I have my 4 hours marked. So then I'll scale down to the 1 hour. What are we doing on the 1 hour? Okay, so I see that. Let's get this over here. Okay, so I see that previously we inversed this 1 hour, right? And what did we do? We came back down, swept this liquidity, which where orders were filled at. As I showed you previously, like what I tend to see a lot is we sweep, like we inverse, we come up, and then we come back down, sweep that like liquidity that we just built up, and then we continue higher. So on the hourly, I'm thinking, okay, we just inversed an hourly fair value gap, showing that we want to go up. Bullish confluence is disrespecting a bearish confluence. So I'm like, okay, so what I want to see now is right now it's 7 o'clock, so this new hourly is going to be made. We can go ahead and print that. Oops, I already printed it. Okay, we can go ahead and print that. So boom, it's now 8 o'clock. With this hourly just set, we have this hourly fair value gap here. I want to see this hourly fair value gap get inversed to show that we want to go higher, right? So what do? I'm going to scale down to the 15-minute time frame. All right, let's see. Okay, boom. So I realized that we have a 15-minute fair value gap down here. I would love to see price tap into this 15-minute and then respect bullish confluences. So respect this 15-minute and get some type of inversion to the upside, like a 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute, 5-minute, like 15-minute, you know? So I want to see this price. I want to see us come down. So let's go ahead and play this. Okay, so boom, we tap into it. So now this 15-minute is currently getting respected. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the next 15-minute candle. Boom. So now this is a 15-minute internal low. If we go to the 5-minute, when that happened, there was no 5-minute gap. There might have been 3-minute. People definitely could have took this 3-minute. There was not 3-minute. So there was no gap for us to invert. So I was like, okay, so price is showing us where we want to go, right? So now we have this 15-minute internal low. But if you go on to ES, or when we created this move up on NQ, right here is the same move we created right here. We never tapped into this 15 minutes. So I was like, okay, so I want to see ES tap into this 15 minute still, and maybe NQ sweep this 15-minute internal low. Let me show you an example of a 15-minute internal low since I was talking about that earlier. So 15-minute internal low and internal high is number 8 on my list. I really like, that's a strong draw. Like, I don't really like going in order of like a list. Really, whatever presents itself is what I'm going to take. So right here we have this 15-minute internal low, which is a wick inside of a gap showing we want to go higher. And that's a liquidity, like that's liquidity. So I want to see that get taken out for us to continue higher. So let's go ahead and play the next candle. Okay, so I'm like, okay, Drake's meat is on the screen. We're wicking off something. What are we rejecting off of right there? That's what I ask myself. So I go to the higher time frame. Okay, I see. We're inside of a 15-minute. Okay, so we might be still respecting this bearish confluences. But on the higher time frame, we are bullish. So I'm going to take bullish confluences over bearish confluences. So we go to the 5-minute. Whoa, 5-minute inverse, right? Like I said, people probably took this short and probably got stopped out. But here's the thing, they don't know on the higher time frame we have a 15-minute internal low here. But ES, we're tapping into the 15-minute we never tapped into, right? No bearish confluences for like SMT or nothing like that. So I'm not taking that, right? I'm just gonna stick to what I'm good at and wait for my entry to come in. If we dump past this and we for some reason just keep on dumping, then I will take a re-entry off a retrace. I'm not going to take the very first inverse I see unless it adds up to my confluences. So I see that we tapped into this 15-minute internal low. I was hoping for SMT to come out of it, but we never got the bullish SMT out of it. So what do? I wait for a 5-minute fair value gap to form. We create this 5-minute fair value gap. Everything is lining up for A plus for me to take this. This hourly though is still getting respected. We're wicking off of it. I did not like that. That was very hard for me to understand why we were wicking off of that and not just going up. But like I said, I like us coming down and sweeping something before we want to continue price upwards. So I'm gonna wait for this inversion to play out. Whoa. Boom, we got this 5-minute inversion. This is where I would enter for a long. Take my long right here. Put my take profit at this 4-hour. Put my stops down here at this rejection block. And then my break even would be at this 15-minute internal high because what did we do a while ago? We came up and respected this 15-minute. So 15-minute internal high. Boom. I'll show you that. So we came up, respected this 15-minute, so we put a wick inside this gap. So that's our 15-minute internal high. So I want to go break even there. And then after this inverse, I would want to scale down to the 1-minute time frame after the next candle, like showing pretty much so on the 1-minute, as you can see, we just ripped up. So I'm going to break even here. I would never get touched. Go ahead and play this out and let you show you what happened. And then I'm going to tell you why I did not take this trade. So boom, TP hit. TP was ran through. Why I did not take this trade is because the hourly didn't close until we hit TP. By the time we hit TP, the hourly was closed, showing us that we were going to invalidate like that. That's the only reason I did not take this trade, because the hourly was not inversed before we went to TP. So it was still